and Bonsai, we're in the house. So, got a couple things. Going to be a quick Fireball Friday night. So, welcome to Fireball Friday night, where a few sips in and the truth comes out. It's delicious. Trump isn't the only one that drinks Diet Coke. I just add a little flair to mine. So anyway, hopefully you guys are enjoying some of the content. I've been putting out a couple videos. As you jump in here, feel free to comment below if you've been watching the videos, the short, the long, or whatever, which ones you like the best. The two that dropped, the last two were when I was out fishing, mainly these chatterbait, different variations and a spinnerbait variation. What's up, Frank? So I was going to talk about that real quick, and I finally did add a weed guard. I added a bait keeper. I added one out on the water, and it fell apart. I super glued just a piece of this like on it, and it worked briefly, but then it fell apart. So now I just wrapped thread around there, super glued it. So now I can put on whatever soft plastic I choose, stick it on, and it will stay better with just something there to hold it. And you could always super glue that on if you wanted, but I usually don't have to once you've added just a makeshift bait keeper. Doesn't take much. So I wanted to kind of start to give you guys a heads up on my rod and reel combos, what I'm thinking so far. We're far enough into the season. Talk about the Daiwa versus Loomis reels. I've kind of weeded out the Shimanos. There's nothing wrong with them. I probably won't be buying any more Shimanos anytime soon. I thought I'd talk about the baits. Hello, Michael. Real quick. So I'm not going to do it here, but I'm going to rig up these. I'm going to show you the rod and reels like unrigged, because then I got to get everything rigged up. Put the rod sleeves and everything. So when I get up, I'm going to set the alarm for like 4:30. I get up 4:30 during the week anyway, but I might set it for 4. I want to try to be on the water right around 5:30, because it's going to be another either hot or start raining tomorrow afternoon. So if you guys watch those videos, if you haven't, go back and watch them. But tomorrow, I don't even know if I've thrown this guy yet. This is a 5/8 ounce. I think it's 5/8, maybe 3/4, but it's the original Pro. So I wanted to get it in the mix, and these bluegill colors seem to work as long as you add 1 or 2 trailers. You add an orange trailer, or so far some sort of June bug. You could technically use just the June bug zinkers, but since I've got a bunch of these swim-ons and I keep melting them to where they work, the only way that I can't reuse them is when these just get ripped off, which I've lost a few soldiers, but actually they don't hold up too bad. So I'm going to be rigging those up on some different ones, and I'll probably try to get, I thought I had a 1/2 ounce in this black and blue with the gold blade, but I don't think I do. But I do have this guy. I'll probably try to rig up, and I might go ahead and break out a couple of my other, 1/2 ounce black and blues tomorrow also to try. So they're an option. But first I'm going to start with the colors that were working. Going to the same place in that video, and it's kind of this guy. The Screaming Thunder Cricket seems to always get the screamers going. But then this guy also kicked in. That's what I was calling him. I don't know. I was calling him Big Papa. I was calling him Big Daddy. I was calling him Mac Daddy or whatever. This is a 1/2 ounce version of what we had. If you guys remember right, when I had my little, wherever he went to, my little Neo bait. But anyway, I'm finding out now that you need the 1/2 or the bigger ones. They're down a little deeper in the grass at heat of the summer. I just had that bait was hooked to me. So we've got a few of our 5/8 true and our 3/4 ounce and our 5/8 or 3/4, wherever this is. So I'm going to rig up some of these heavier baits, and I'll re-rig the spinner bait. And it was doing good with the orange, so I'll probably leave that alone, rig up a couple of these. This one's already bright. Well, I think I'm going to rig it up with the orange. I think that's what I always did when I had the 1/2 ounce or the 3/8 ounce Neo one. So I'll probably rig that one. And probably the brighter this guy. So that's a little bit of the brighter Screaming Thunder Cricket. So I'll probably rig up those 3 baits with the 3. And I mean, I could have rigged them all, but then I've got like 4 of these guys already cut and ready to go. So I'll probably rig up. Yeah, it actually, I didn't even set and add them up, but that's the way it works. 3 and then 4. So I'll have those rigged up, and I'm going to rig them up all on my rods. And then when I get there, I'll probably take some off, because when I first get there, I'll probably be throwing a little bit of top water and stuff like that first. So anyway, I wanted to also talk about, as well as these work for me, have a little bit of durability issue with some of the dinks around my neck of the woods, right? You'll just get a good solid hit, and you come back and this is missing. Because that's the only well, there's two downsides. These kamikaze swim-ons, and a couple of you guys mentioned right off the bat, like, oh, those are notorious for getting caught on the hooks. I'm like, well, I hadn't had that problem, and then I had that problem. And so if you can manage to stop it right as it's hitting the water, it totally takes away that problem. But you do occasionally run into that, where these hook back onto the hook. I got the garage door open. Yeah, welcome to Independence. It's already fireworks going off and everything outside. But anyway, these get bit. There's no doubt in my mind, when I put these on the back of these bluegill colors, I'm probably going to get bit on any water I go to, or one of these, some kind of orange. And I haven't really found a good orange trailer other than that. And I know this is a little different color, but that works as good as just throwing a Zinker's worm. And that worm by itself, when I rig up a brand new Zinker's in that color, I don't have the luck that I do when I put these on this trailer, or as a trailer. But so I bought these up at Rogers last week. That's the same color, and I rigged it up on a bluegill type jig, and then this one also. And I had one good hit that I missed, but he may have just not been hitting at it right. But so far, these haven't translated. These are the kamikaze swim on. These are the kamikaze craw. And you guys comment if you use the. And I cut this down. They had it perfectly round, just kind of like what these kamikazes all have, this rounded. I thought it just looked too machined and too not natural enough. So I wasn't really trying to take it off. I was just trying to make it not as look kind of like it did. And I may need to do something a little different with those. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be rigging up to start with, because go back and watch those videos if you haven't, but if you watch close enough, you almost miss it if you're not paying attention. I talk about using, hard baits, chatterbaits, this, that, and then it jumps to me just basically taking a 3/4 ounce red eye shad, clipping it on the rod and going, well, those aren't working. Then I go back to, spinner baits and chatterbaits, because I've tried the rattle trap. There was just not really an actual rattle trap bite going on. So anyway. Yeah, Frank says Massachusetts has fireworks everywhere. 250th anniversary of the Battle of Concord in Lexington. All right, well, let's jump into the rod and reel combos. So I'm just going to blow through these real quick, because you guys have seen these before. This guy I haven't even had out on the last couple trips, but you can't beat, you got to pay for them, but the Calcutta Conquest rod, the Steez Limited Reel with the BFS spool, that thing's awesome for the little swim baits, but I haven't really been using it much. Then the 802, no issues with it, except for I was trying a few different worms. I need to change up. I probably just need to go ahead and break down, put the June bug worm on it and try it tomorrow. No problems there, but I don't really get these out and use them as much. I just want to have them. Like, I feel like I'm missing something if I don't have them there, if I need that extra sensitivity. I have been getting on good enough bites where I don't really feel I need to slow down. It's just that the bites I've had seem like they're hitting at it kind of weird. So anyway, we kind of have this rigged up as a free rig. I might try some other different. I'll probably end up putting. I just want to try probably the black and blue, the blue sapphire, and this guy on a free rig. But I still have a baby brush hog rigged up on it right now, and that's going to change tomorrow if I take this combo. I'm debating on not taking any of that stuff. So as soon as I do, though, I'll have to rig all these up for soft plastic, because the bite will suck. But we'll jump right to my favorite, my newest combo I put together. The rod is just got it within a week or so. The reel I've had since the beginning of this season, and I'm still in a love-hate relationship for that reel. It costs crazy amounts of money. You can't adjust that. It works good, but I can't talk I definitely will tell you this. I can't talk myself into buying another one of these reels. Not because of the GLX is awesome. We got into a crazy deal last week where I was missing fish, but it wasn't just this rod. It was this rod. It was the tequila back rack. It was the blade. It was, I think maybe the only one that didn't, but I didn't use it a lot, was a Super Destroyer that I feel like I didn't lose that many fish. But like everything, the bite was weird. It was off and stuff like that. But the reason I'm hesitant with that Steez, the newest Steez, is basically because of this reel right here. This reel right here, I'm telling you guys, that Tatula, it's just like the Zillion. All it does is just work. Now I added a drag clicker. You can't really just look at the bling because that's just for looks. Even the knobs, they don't really do anything, you know. I added that, but I added 2 bearings up here and a drag clicker. And this reel, in my mind, palms almost even better than the newest Steez. Probably a touch better. It's a little heavier, and you can feel that if you're really paying attention. But honestly, once you get out on the water and start fishing, if nobody told you that this reel was only like around $200 and the other one's $500 to $700, well, here in the States it's like $750. So almost $500 more than this if you bought it like up at Rogers or Tackle Warehouse or whatever. And it's like insane that no, this one is almost will just do everything as good except maybe throwing the lightest of baits. But if you're just on a regular bait caster, you know, if you're not throwing BFS, you don't have any issues. So I just think that the Tatula, not ready to sneeze, is just, it's there. There's no need. I mean, unless you got the money and you just want the crazy, you know, highest end stuff you can get, you're not missing out. Trust me, I have them. I have 3 of the Limiteds, the newest one. I don't have the CTs, never have it on the CT, but I can't imagine they're any better than what I have. And that Tatula it feels real good. And this Zillion, I've talked about it. You guys know this is the original one from back whenever I first got them. Other than the paint finish, it's hard to. I think this one. If this one just had a better, it doesn't palm. It palms a little bit bigger. But if you're getting him to put on a bigger rod, you might like the Zillion better for the palming because it still is a very comfortable to palm. Probably just depends on what rod you put on. Is what's weird about the Zillion. Like it doesn't feel perfect on every rod, but some rods it feels better than like the Steez reels do. But most of the stuff I have, the Steez feel a little better palming. They don't feel as smooth, but they just palm I don't know, a little bit different. But the Zillion, if it wasn't for that paint finish, and it is, well, it's more money, but if you go through like Digitaka, it's not that much more, and it comes with the clicker. So if you got the Tatula for, like right now in Digitaka, these are like $245. The Tatula is $180. By the time you buy the Tatula, buy a drag clicker, you're already close to $2. So this is only like $40 more by the time you get them set. And I think this will, honestly, I think this is my best casting reel, period. On the limiteds, on everything. And from the get-go, I've always just not filled the spool all the way up, and I use 20-pound braid. And this thing just flings baits. It may not be the best at the going to the very lightest, like the shallow spool, and the newest Steez may throw, you know, they may throw a 1/4 ounce a little further than this one or wherever. But I think when you're going to that 3/8, 1/2 ounce, 3/4, I think this reel beats all of my other reels. All the Shimano's I've owned, the Luz. The only thing I can say positive that the Luz have is they are, for sheer casting distance, they're right there either with the Zillion or in the Daiwas, or in some cases may beat them on some of the lighter stuff, but they're finicky, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you guys have been probably haven't been paying attention, but I've noticed that when I go out and I don't pay a lot of attention on the water. Sometimes I'll notice I'm like, I haven't had any backlash, and I had a backlash with this reel, or I haven't had a backlash, and then I have one, or something weird happened with one of the lures. But I just feel that this one especially, I don't know if it keeps loosening itself or whatever. It will have that random, and I'll do it all the time. I do it with some of the other reels, but I think this Lose kind of does that. But this Elite TI, and if you guys notice, I put my bad luck started. I took this reel off, put on Super Destroyer, took the Elite TI, and left it at home. So I'm not going to make that mistake. I just don't know if there's juju in this combo or what. Even though I don't use it, it's going with me just like that. Because it does work, and it maybe I feel is a touch on the softer side. So now if these fish are hitting kind of weird, that might be the one I need to give them a split second longer to take it, and also be a little softer for the fight. So we're gonna have it out there with us, and if the bite is off again, I will be switching out some of the rods and reels until I get one that I feel is doing the best or whatever as far as hookups, and just feels good, and they feel like I'm letting them take it, because it may be a fact I'm just got I'm too hyper, and my stuff is very sensitive. But let's go to the next one. But that Lose Elite TI, the rod and the reel, I still couldn't say that I would spend the money for the new cost of any of the Lose stuff I bought, except for the reel I'm getting ready to show you here shortly. Not this reel I'm going to show you now, but this rod I like. So this combo, I like everything about it, except this makes a crazy noise during casting. I probably should throw the Screaming Thunder crickets on it. They would match up better. But that jerkbait rod, I like everything about it. I only gave 100 for it. You can get them for 189 though, all day long or whatever. The reel I gave 200 for. It's like 350 still, I think. I don't plan on buying any more. I might buy one more if I come across one for like say $200. But I know I wouldn't spend that much money. I would think about buying another one for 200, but probably not, because the Tatulas. I think because I started out the Tatula on this rod, and I may end up working my way back to that. That's what I was going to show you guys, these combos tonight, because I think what I'm going to slowly start doing is I think I'm going to get rid of, no offense to you losers out there, but I'm going to weed out some of my lose reels and start getting more, probably the Tatulas, maybe one more Zillion, one more Tatula, and then one of the black Tatulas that has a the hyper drive, and then not the boost, just because it's black and it'll match up with some of the rods. But I think that I want to start working my way, say this is going into next year, I think I'm going to start putting Tatulas on and I might get a couple more of the P5 destroyers, because they match up good. Now this rod and reel combo, I put it back together. There's nothing really wrong with it as long as you're throwing half ounce or say bigger, possibly 3/8. But this reel is more or less, that's a BB1 Pro or whatever. It came with the drag clicker. I liked it. I put our crazy Lose Lady handle on it. Everything works and feels awesome, except for if you try to go like a little pitchy, a little softer bait, lighter stuff. This reel can't. The rod is stiff, but if you had the right reel, like when I have the Elite TI on it, I can do a lot more with it. Once you put this on it, you're going to have some issues with, if you try to get there's no finesse, and this becomes just a power everything, heavier stuff, but it does do the job. But I will probably start weeding out some of those reels. I don't know, probably just put them on eBay and sell them off. Maybe I might make a local listing on some of this stuff here in the next, I don't know when, but I do kind of like this reel. That reel I bought new, full price, the Custom Pro, and I'm not disappointed. On this Dobbins rod, the only problem is it doesn't really match up on any of my other rods, so I probably won't be buying any more. And for $279, I probably would just go with the Zillion, or you could get the Tatula all decked out the way I have it. This one was $279, and then this handle and knobs are more and the drag clicker. So this thing's probably closer to that 350 range now. But it does, man. It's little. It's lightweight. It casts great. The drag works good. So I don't know. I probably will keep it on this Dobbins. I was almost tempted to sell the Dobbins, but this is one of those combos that it just keeps hanging in there. It feels good, works good. It'll do a lot of different stuff. That 704, I didn't even really get it for chatterbaits, but I like it with the Thunder Crickets for sure. And then any of these bigger ones, like I'm going to be throwing tomorrow, the Big Blade, the big full-size Z-Man original type baits, and well, even that guy is like this 704 is good for that. Now, if you went to mini maxes or the smaller, like 3/4 or 3/8 ounce knockoffs or whatever, then you probably, it's not going to be the rod really for that. Same thing with this one, my last one here. This Tequila Baccarat has surprised me on how good it is on stuff. I'm still not a big fan of this reel. This is one Daiwa reel that I probably will sell at some point. Honestly, I wouldn't trade it for Tatula, but I'm thinking about putting it back to stock, selling it, because I think I would be just as happy with either the Zillion or probably just a Tatula on here. I don't use it for swim baits as much as I do just for jigs and these bigger, the big blade chatterbaits, half, 3/4, the bigger jigs, and I do throw some of the swim bait stuff with it or whatever, the bigger whopper ploppers and that kind of stuff. But it does feel good. Like it takes any big bait you have and you throw it, and it feels like you're throwing a regular bait on one of your smaller rod and reels. It just, I have it balanced. So, although you can tell it's the heaviest rod and reel combo I own, it doesn't feel heavy, and it's probably still lighter than what some guys would use for as big as stuff as I throw with this Tequila Baccarat, because it is rated crazy up there. 7 foot, 3/4 to 4 ounce, 12 to 30 pound. I've got 40-pound braid to a 30-pound leader, and so it's my rod that it'll throw any of the bigger stuff that maybe the Dobbins or the Super Destroyer wouldn't. It's got them, no problem. So anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna get. And I've been debating about doing it before the Daiwa increase their price, but I think these will only go up $10, and so even if they go up $10 on Digitaka, it's not, from 180 to 190. I may wait till because here's the thing. This, I don't know if you can make it out in the lighting in down here right now, but it kind of just, the stock one, or I added a little bit of funky colors to it, it just kind of matches up to these P5s, in looks and palmability. But here's what I'm thinking. This thing's definitely, I'm pretty sure, very popular. They've already more or less copied it. So they've changed this, though. But the Kage, the Salamandura are all this same frame. But I'm hoping that they come out with a version of this in either like an Elite or, they do something a little bit different. I don't know what else they would add, maybe a couple bearings like what I've added. But then I may get one or two of those, or because if right now this reel, like, it doesn't look good in my opinion on the black rod. So like although I put it on there and it would palm good, it looks weird on the Poison Adrena. It looks weird on the GLX. It looks okay on NRXs, but the black one would look better. But it's just it has a hyperdrive, but it doesn't have a boost spool. And you can get those on AliExpress for like $125, but then there's like $14 shipping. So I may just wait. I don't need any other stuff right now, so I may just slowly weed out some of the lures and that kind of thing. Yeah. Size of hook, I believe, is a 1/0. I think. Let me look. These, I don't quote me, but these were hooks I already had, and I ordered. And I've got more coming. I think it was 1/0 what I measured them out as is getting for the baby brush hog. Now I have some 3/0s, but they just look a little too big. And when I had this one out, I just rigged it up when I had the 1/4 ounce Texas rig rigged up. This hook was working real good. It doesn't stand out, but like it was a good working and looking hook. So anyway, I believe that's 1/0. I can't remember the brand. These were, I had them already. I guess I could go track down and show you what they look like. You guys know the deal. I bought several different batches of hooks over the. I couldn't even tell you if they came from Rogers or AliExpress or where. I don't think they came from AliExpress, but I think they're in here. Then I gotta get off here because I gotta get all this stuff rigged up. So yeah, these, yeah boy, oh yeah boy, yeah. So wait a minute. All right, these I already had. If you're looking at these all kind of have that gray, silver, silky gray look to them. These all came. Oh man, they're getting all mixed up. Oh dear Lord, I was trying to pull these out without jacking everything. These are all out of whack now. But there's what I started with, whatever size those are. I had these in the box. Could not tell you where they came from. And then I ordered these. This is a 3/0 from AliExpress, and they're very slick or whatever. These were only like I want to say $1.50 for 10 or something. And we're going to try them. But that was the 3/0, which is, well, let me try to show you. Well, all my baits I've cut up. I don't have even a good bait out here. I think I've already cut that bait up. But technically, there's like a sweet beaver and that kind of stuff. That 3/0 would be perfect for that. And then these is what I was getting to use for the smaller stuff. But I think I goofed up and I ordered the size 1 instead of the 1/0. And then these, they'll still work for some other. Oh, I'm going to end up hooking I'm going to have myself hooked before this night's over with. Let me get those in there. So yeah, they come like that. And this was just a little too small. So I think those are like a size 1, and these are a 1/0. Because I also wanted to rig up some of the, where did they go? Well, I wanted to try these guys. Now these would kind of work, but they're almost on that, in my opinion, there's not enough gap there for them to work right. And this size is actually perfect for these. So anyway, I have more of, I measured them, and it was a 1/0 of those guys coming, because that's about right for these little smaller Bronco things or whatever they originally started out being. We've got several of those to try. You can also, whether you're dealing with the regular Rage Menace, the baby Rage Menace is where these are real good at. That's probably what I'm going to rig up tomorrow on that free rig setup, just to try a couple different colors, maybe a cut down one of these like what I already have, just so I have bigger flappers but a smaller, overall profile for them to bite at. I know it looks nasty, but trust me, it works. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Stay tuned. If you haven't watched those videos, now tomorrow I got it's like one GoPro clip, but like the GoPro records for 11 minutes and then it records again for 11 minutes and so on and so forth, is the way I've got mine set up. So it's like 2.5, so it's like 24 minutes of me just starting going, we need more cowbells and peanut butter and jelly. and because I've got my jig box out, and we started rigging up peanut butter and jelly jigs because Charles had caught. He got on two little, like, kind of bites. One with that peanut butter and jelly crankbait, fire tail from a headhunter, and then a peanut butter and jelly small finesse jig. So I got out my big peanut butter and jelly jigs and got the bigger 5/8 or 3/4 out, and we threw it down in some deeper water. And I was rigging up. I had one. The video will come out tomorrow, but I had a peanut butter and jelly zinkers on one, and I think I was swapping it back and forth. And then I also rigged it up with this to try to see if I could get. I was looking for a bigger bite. Spoiler alert: we never did find the bigger bite, but it was catching fish, and it's just me and Charles randomly talking. If you kind of want an idea of what it's like in a short 20-some minute video to be fishing out on the water with me and Charles, that's from start to finish. 24 minutes of me getting the peanut butter and jelly jigs, fishing them, and then going, okay, it's a dink bite, and then we moved on to something else. And so that full video will be coming out, if not Sunday, then through next week, the full video. And that's also one of them where I was losing fish right and left, except I don't think I lost any with that peanut butter and jelly jig. So anyway, the other video, the two videos I dropped, the full suck videos, that's from when I was at the place on the Saturday before I went fishing with Charles on last Sunday. And that was when I definitely, that day and Sunday, I lost probably more bass than I actually got in the boat. Like once I could feel the weight. When they peck at it and hit it, and I'm like, oh, and then there's nothing, I don't count that. But the minute I like feel it hit, I pull, I feel the weight of the fish. Whether they, make it any further than that. Once I feel how heavy the fish probably is, I do the Mike Iaconelli, it's a giant thing. And then at some point it pops off. Those are ones that frustrate me. Not so much when they're the smaller ones, but when it's a repeated thing, it's like, what is going on? But some of them I got in, they were like hooked in the lower lip. Some of them were even hooked outside the mouth, so they weren't really hitting right. Pretty much all weekend long. It was crazy hot, crazy windy, but anyway. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, and we'll give you probably a heads up, if not tomorrow night, sometime Sunday, about how we did. Probably show you what baits I did and didn't, or did use, what did and didn't work, and stuff like that. So be looking forward to that video. And then when I get around to it, I'll probably tell you exactly what I'm going to try to get rid of on my rod and reel arsenal. Still debating if I even want to mess with that other Lose, this one right here. I got it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it feels heavier than my Tequila Baccarat, and it's just, it's going to be throwing basically square bills and red eye shads. Everything I already throw with the Poison Adrenaline, which is a crazy light rod, or I could throw with the 6'10" medium heavy of this. It feels way lighter and more sensitive. So I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not a huge fan of glass. It does do the job. It does work. The few times I've taken it out, I don't know if I'm going to keep messing with it or not, though. I may just ship it down the road. It was another one of those. I only gave $100 for it. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. I will see you later. That's out. Done. It's a wrap. This live Fireball Friday night. Oh, this honey hole is dried up. I'll see you guys later.